Hello and welcome to Ferris Sports Update. I'm your host, Rob Bentley, and thanks for tuning in. On today's show, we'll talk Bulldog Hockey. We'll also check in with the Ferris State women's basketball team at home this past weekend and the Ferris State tennis teams, which got their season underway here in terms of home action. We'll start first, though, with Bulldog Hockey, joined by the voice of Ferris State Hockey, Harrison Watt. Harrison, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be back. And before we get started, I have to send a shout out to our bus driver, Joe Bayshaw, for getting us home. It was the nastiest weather I've ever been in on a bus, and he really did a good job to get us home and got us home in pretty good time, too.
Obviously, a trip to Michigan Tech this past weekend in Houghton, Michigan. I know always special to go up there. Great hospitality up in the Copper Country, and especially with the Winter Carnival festivities going on.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Obviously, it's a bit different because, you know, they don't have 4,000 fans in there and the normal festivities, no pep band. But always a fun place to go play. Typically, over the years, we played pretty well there. It's a really cool town to be in. It's one of my favorite places to be. And like you said, the staff is awesome there. Calvin Larson set us up really good. It's the only place in the league where they put the visiting broadcast right at center ice, and it's one of the great perches to broadcast from in all of college hockey.
As we get ready to go to some of the highlights of Friday's game, obviously you just played Michigan Tech a couple days before in Big Rapids, and certainly getting very familiar with this opponent.
Oh yeah, and you know, Tuesday's game we held them to 23 shots, so we felt pretty good about ourselves. We go out here on the road, and really I thought Michigan Tech did a great job keeping us away from the front of the net on that Friday game. They're really good defensively, and as seasons goes on, they typically tend to get better. You're going to see a lot of stops here by our goalies in both highlight sessions between Friday and Saturday. Here's one by Salman Kangas in a scrum. I thought our goalies were excellent this weekend. They really were. You know, you might look and see 3 and 5 on the board and think, well, I don't know about that, but they did face a lot of shots and a lot of really high quality chances. So full marks to both of them. Michigan Tech is going to capitalize here on a deflection. It goes off of a forward stick trying to block a shot, just kind of a bad bounce. But, you know, Salman Kangas, I thought is probably his best start of the year so far.
Both first periods in both games very similar. They scored right around the 16-minute mark to go in the first period of both games.
Yeah, and really for the most part, I thought the first 10 minutes of the game on Friday, we really had a good jump to us, but Michigan Tech came back and really started to possess the puck very well after that and not allow us over their blue line with ease. And here's another big stop by Salman Kangas. I mean, he sticks his foot up in the air. He's doing everything. You know, Michigan Tech thinks they've scored, but I mean, he really got into a scramble. It's not a, you know, you don't usually see Roney do that. He's a very calm goaltender, but he made every save he could. And this is actually right here, a really tough save. It's right next to the ear, and for a goalie, technically, that's a really hard stop to make. So it was a good one amongst the many he made.
Michigan Tech will go take a 2-0 lead here. Power play goal in the second period.
Yeah, tough team. Their power play is really starting to click right now too. It struggled for a while, but there's a really nice play from down low to high, and then we get a really good opportunity here. And it's Jake Transit got 2 of those this weekend. He doesn't typically miss from there. He just misses the net wide there. And Michigan Tech continues to put on a couple. This is a great save. Roney actually dove to his left and got a glove on that one and knocked it wide of the goal. So again, another big stop for him.
Obviously a 2-0 game here going into the third period, and then they get the final one here as the Bulldogs were trying to take some chances down the stretch.
Yeah, I really thought as the game went on, 2-0, Michigan Tech really locked down. Kind of like some of the old 90s hockey teams where you go up by a goal or two and you really start to lock it down. And, you know, we really didn't get to the front of the net as much as we wanted to on Friday night, especially the second and third of the game.
As we get ready to go to Saturday's highlights, obviously being on the road here with the guys, what's it like when you lose a tough one like that the first night and have to come back and play the second day?
Well, you're reminded that you get a chance the next night, and right off the bat we get tested. Here's a penalty shot Justin Miziak draws, and Logan Stein gets the start. We switch goaltenders after a good night for Roney, and Stein he was busy early here. He made a couple of really big stops, and I thought that gave us a little bit more confidence on Saturday night, knowing that our goaltenders were in the right spot. There's a grade A+ chance for Moise. He doesn't miss from there, but Blake Pietila makes a big stop, and you know we get more big saves from our goalies here.
Obviously, Logan Stein, you mentioned in that, a freshman that has had some nice games for the Bulldogs after coming on and being with the USA junior team.
Yeah, he you know missed the first part of the season with us, just being away with Team USA, and he's come back and still getting to know the college game a little bit better. This one just trickled over the goal line. It fooled everybody because of the way it bounced back out of the net. So it's 1-0, and it barely gets by him. But Logan was busy. He makes a big stop here at the beginning of the second period, and I thought that gave us a little bit more of a boost. But here you see we get a couple of opportunities from the outside. But again, as you're seeing, we're not in tight to the net, and that's where you get your grade A chances. And we weren't able to do a ton of that just because of the way Michigan Tech played it defensively. And again, Stein busy at the other end.
Obviously, their goaltender had a big weekend as well.
He did. That was actually a big stop right there. Mitch Dealster, it looked like it went high, but it actually hits Blake Pietila on the top of the head. It's a great save, and then here's Trans with another good opportunity. So we start to get to the front of the net. We start to get some good opportunities. I thought we were going in the right direction there, down just 1-0, but then Michigan Tech capitalizes here to make it 2-0. I thought that deflated us a little bit, but the intermission comes at the right time because it gave us a chance to kind of mentally reset.
Obviously, the Bulldogs did not quit. They come back here in the third, and we'll see get the goal to pull back within one.
Yeah, here's Moyes, a nice play picking one off, and then a shot to the net gets deflected in by Stepan Picorni, who gets his first collegiate goal. Really nice play by Picorni to drive the net. A nice play to force a turnover and capitalize on it. And that's what you got to do. And again, we get right to the front of the net, and there's a great A chance. So that's what you got to do against Michigan Tech. And I thought we had a lot of really good energy after this until we took a penalty. For a few minutes, and we were really starting to press for the equalizer here, and then Stein makes a couple of stops. You're going to see one that I've seen a lot of goaltenders in my life, and I got to be honest, this is the best save I've probably ever seen live. It's pretty close to the first, if it's not first. He's leaning back. He doesn't really have much of a chance, and that's their best player, Tommy Perrotino. So if that's anything to show what is coming for Logan Stein, that's a pretty good sign.
Obviously, a tough weekend here in terms of the final results, but a young team that certainly has battled and kept battling despite the record.
Yeah, and I think there are some positives to be taken out of it. Maybe not specifically this weekend in certain individual areas, but I was talking to Coach Daniels. We had a good car ride together this weekend when we were exchanging his rental vehicle. The tires were bad on it, funny enough. But we were talking about some of the guys that he's really excited about. And you look at Brendan Rons and Ben Schulteis on the blue line. That's an area where we're really young. And those are two young guys that haven't played a lot. But over the last month or so, they were a +1 for a team that hasn't been winning games, and you usually don't see guys in the plus category on the blue line if you're losing games. So it kind of shows you that that's maybe a shutdown defensive pair to come. A couple of big guys. So you're seeing some of the young guys start to kind of bring it back to the top here after kind of a tough stretch of the schedule. It's a tough league, very tough schedule right now. But we're seeing some improvement out of some of these younger guys.
Obviously a tough schedule, as you mentioned, and does not get any easier this week with maybe the best team in the league, Minnesota State, coming in.
Probably the best team in the country. Minnesota State they're excellent, very hard to play against. And it was funny, I saw a quote from Alabama Huntsville's assistant coach, Carlos Zernis, who compared them to the Soviet teams of the 60s, 70s, and 80s that dominated the world stage forever. I mean, they would come to the U.S. and they would beat up on the NHL teams like 6-7-0. And that's kind of what they're like. They hang on to the puck. You're thinking, well, how good are they defensively? It doesn't matter. They have the puck the whole game. So you really got to be tough to play against a team like Minnesota State. Bulldog hands will be full this weekend. I actually thought the weekend we played at Minnesota State earlier this season was some of our best hockey. So hopefully we can put our best foot forward here at home. Friday
and Saturday, 7 o'clock, and looking forward to hearing the radio broadcast as always, again on Sunday 97.3 and also on Flow Hockey.
Yeah, excited to be back in action here at home against a good team. It's a great opportunity for a young team, and I know Coach Daniel's always excited to play good teams like this.
Well, Harrison, thanks for the time, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be back with more Ferris Sports Update right after this.